All right, everybody, welcome back to the T.R.I.P Podcast, the Toledo Real Estate Investing Podcast. And today I have a very, very special guest. I have an extraordinary young man here locally in Toledo, Ohio. He's a local wholesaler here that has been really doing a lot of really cool deals and somebody that I'm really excited to see where he goes in the future. I got Tony Ramirez on the podcast. How are you?
Good. What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, it's a pleasure for sure.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I mean, I know you. We've spoken a lot off camera and in person, and and I say this, very honestly. I'm really excited for where you're going in the future, man. You got a bright future ahead of you, and I wanna highlight that, and I want to share that here on the podcast. So Tony, how long have you been wholesaling for?
I'd say since about August of last year. So I mean,
Yeah.
fresh still. So
Okay. So as of August of last year, and take us back to August. What got you started in real estate and in wholesaling specifically?
well, at first I didn't even really know about wholesaling. What it was I wanted to start investing. Just watching videos on YouTube, Pace Morby, stuff like that, and then just going down that rabbit hole a little, and then later I kind of rolled and found out about it wholesaling. So I researched it a little and found out about it. Went and bought a book, read about the book. And I'm like, all right, let's do it, man. My cousin Jr. He already heard about it. He wanted to get into it, so from there, we started driving for dollars and stuff like that to generate leads, and of course, hand dialing to pull those leads in, and then that's how it really started.
So who was the figure that introduced you to real estate, and then what book taught you about real estate? I'm curious about that.
It was Pace Morby with the sub 2.
Yeah.
I was listening to him a lot, and then I just found a book on Amazon. It was the Wholesaling Bible, I believe. I lended it to a friend, so I don't have it anymore, but it was the Wholesaling Bible. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay. And so you and your friends your cousin start driving for dollars, and for those of you that don't know what driving for dollars is, I just want to explain that real quick. Essentially, it is the method where you drive around your neighborhood and just try to find the ugliest houses you can, with broken windows, boarded up doors and windows, bad roof, overgrown grass, those types of properties, and creating a list of them. And then, Tony, once you create that list, what did you do with that list? Because there's a lot of things you can do. You can mail it, you can text it, you can call it, you can door knock.
We called all of them.
You called it. Okay. So I did the same thing when I first got started. I didn't necessarily drive for dollars. I just pulled like a regular list online. But I'm curious to ask, how did your first cold call go?
It was kind of nerve wracking, man. I was procrastinating for so long. I'm just sitting there waiting to press the button, and then I'm just like, man, let's just get this over with. But I mean, as I kept going, I got more comfortable and I spoke with more confidence. I wasn't stuttering as much. I was very clear and precise when I spoke with the sellers. So over time, it got better.
Awesome. And were you using like some sort of script, or were you just kind of like winging it?
I think I didn't have a full script. I think I was just like, hey, I was looking at your house at so-and-so here. Just wondering if you thought about selling, and then just sitting back and waiting for a yes or a no.
Cool. Awesome. And so you're building up your list of drive for dollar leads. You're cold calling these sellers. And so then tell me, like, how long did it take from you starting to call to you locking up your first deal? And what was that what was that process like? Take us through, because a lot of people are watching, they may be beginners, right? Like they haven't even cold called yet. They never even talked to a seller. They may not even know the entire ins and outs of even wholesaling yet. They're still trying to really get their trying to understand that. And so some people are scared of that first I guess, hurdle of getting your first deal. I know I was. It took me 5.5 months for me to even do my very first deal. And so like that 5.5 months or however long it takes for that individual is is like a whole it's like a space of unknown. Like you don't know if this thing actually works. Like you're anxious about everything. Like you think that the world is conspiring against you and this whole thing is just like a lie. That's what I felt
Right.
personally. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
how did that, what were you feeling throughout those first that first before getting that first deal?
I was actually feeling like, does this stuff even work? You know, because man, it
Yeah.
took us a while. I mean, we were driving for Dallas every day,
Yeah.
constantly, every day for hours, hand dialing all of them. We weren't catching anything. And then I'd say about 4 months into it, we locked something up. But I mean, it was like we were so thirsty to lock something up. We got it for a bad price, and it really just wasn't a deal at all. We really still didn't know what we were doing. We locked it up. We had to ended up getting out of that deal, and then we locked another house up out in the east side area, Oakdale. We had some issues with that. We had to get out of that deal, and then me myself, I got into a deal in the north end where it almost closed, and the day of closing, uh, the seller didn't want to come to the closing and pay his back taxes he owed, even though we
Oh,
previously agreed to it.
yeah.
And then somehow he ended up finding my buyer, and it was weird. And then eventually I actually got backdoored out that deal, and they cut me out of the deal and just did it between them. So it was in that situation, man, I wanted to quit right then and there. I'm like, man, that really messed me up because it was a family friend. So it was a weird situation. But then I'm like, man, let me just keep going. I just had that faith that something I was gonna get something eventually. And about 2 weeks later, I caught something back in the Oakdale area on the east side. This lady had a house that was left to her by her husband that passed away. And she was just ready to get it off her hands. It was just sitting there rotting, getting old, bad roof, bad everything. So I'm like, I can help you out. I could do this. So I built good rapport with her, built a good relationship with her, locked up the deal, blasted it out. Caught a buyer, I'd say about a week into it. And then out the next week after that, we closed that deal. So,
Nice. So that was your very first deal.
yep, very first deal.
And how much did you make on that wholesale?
I made $5,800 on that first deal.
That's solid, man. That's
Yep.
solid. Congratulations,
Yeah.
man. Congratulations on that. And so that was so you said that was 4 months into it. You getting
Yeah,
your first.
about 4 months of constant, nonstop grinding every day. Not
Yeah.
seeing no results, nothing. But I kept it pushing.
Heck yeah. Awesome. Awesome. And that was from Driving for Dollars, right? That was the lead that came from Driving for
Oh,
Dollars.
driving for dollars. That's really hardcore. All my deals were driving for
Okay.
dollars. Yep.
Okay. So now let's talk about this one that we recently just did, right? Me and you recently together just did a deal,
Yeah.
and I know you made way more than 5,800 on this one. You you
Yeah.
you came out with a nice check on this one. Tell me about the story. Tell me about how you got it. Talk to me about this deal, man.
Yeah. So that came from driving for dollars too, out in West Toledo. Um, by then we weren't hand out. Well, I wasn't hand dialing anymore. I took your advice and got that dialer and pulled that in. And that seller, he was about to go in foreclosure um, because he was having he rented it out to a family member. He stopped making payments, and it kind of went downhill. He was in a very bad situation, so we was able to help him out. Locked it up. We were being held hostage for a while by that lender, but we got it closed, and yeah, so
Yeah, yeah, and so how much did you make on that deal?
I made about $15 grand, 15 grand, yeah, 15.
15 grand. And how old are you?
Just turned 20 back in December, so 20 years old.
So when you locked up this deal, what were you, like 19?
Yep, because it was back in November. So yep, I
So
was
you just
19.
turned, so you just turned 20 and you just made $15,000 on one deal in 1 month.
Man, it was a great feeling, very great feeling.
Yeah.
It really showed me there's a lot of potential. There's a lot of potential here, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really just on the beginning for me. So I'm really looking forward to see where it takes me.
Man, if I had like a whistle or a bell or something, I'd ring it for you, but I don't. Uh, I mean, because that's incredible, right? Like think about that. How many people are 20 years old and putting in those hours before we even talk about the check at the end result. I mean, that's not really where the winning starts. I mean, the winning starts all the way from day one, right? Like just you grinding for that first 4.5 months. A lot of people do not have that tenacity. They don't have that perseverance to go through that and to do that. A lot of people will quit after a week. They'll quit after a month, right? They'll quit after maybe 3 months, maybe, right? But like you, I mean, you're part of that. You're part of that 1% that like just keeps on going no matter what. And so, and I understand that if there's, when it comes down to situations like that, there's a deeper reason to why people do this. If you don't mind me asking, like, what is like, why did you, why are you doing wholesaling? Why are you like, what's your why?
I mean, really, I don't want to be working a W-2 forever. When I sat down and thought about it, when I get older, I just want to really have the freedom to do what I want, work how I want, work with who I want, and just be my own boss. And you know, I don't really, I don't really want to be working for somebody else. Helping them achieve their dreams when I could be, pursuing mine and really trying to get it for myself and be my own man, really.
Yeah,
Um, And eventually, when I really get the hang of it and it's turned into a full scale operation, I want to bring a lot of people in because there's a lot of potential here. And, um, there's a lot of potential. And I really love to help out some people in my life, some friends, some family, just show them that this stuff is real and it can be life changing if you do buckle down and you grind hard, grind for a long time, delay gratification for a long time, and eventually, you'll look up and you'll be you'll be farther than you would ever expect.
I love it. I love it. That's it, man. It's chasing that freedom, chasing the that that ideal of where you want to be. You know what I mean? It's a great thing to chase, especially being so young. It's commendable. It's commendable. And going back to what I was saying, just the fact that you were able to go 4 months, right, with no deals and just being able to just grind and hustle. I mean, that says a lot about you as a person and you as a true entrepreneur, because not a lot of people can say that they were able to wait 4 months to get their very first deal, right? Because on the internet, on TikTok and YouTube and what have you, people, they bring wholesaling up as like this, get rich quick scheme where you can just make a call or look at a property and then bam, you make $10,000 on a deal. That's not
Yeah,
necessarily the case, right? It takes hours, it takes work, it takes a lot of things in the background that people don't want to talk about because it's not sexy to talk about it on the internet. But
no,
that's what it takes to really be successful in this business.
yep, yeah, they really do sell that dream, and I mean, I was sold it, for sure, but then I'm just like, man, I feel like it could work, and I just wouldn't stop, man. I was so hungry for it. I just couldn't stop for nothing. Really, man. I just couldn't. And then eventually, I locked something up. We got a deal closed, and that's all I needed. And from there on out, full throttle.
Awesome. Awesome. So what's Tony been up to in today's day? So like, I know you said you got the dialer. I know you said, we just closed this deal. So where are you looking to take things now? What are some of the things that you're implementing now or plan on implementing to really blow this thing up and to really, build a lot of momentum in your business?
So I'm trying to figure out more things as far as lead generation. Just pulling in those leads. I don't have a problem with cold calling. I still cold call every day. But
Mm-hmm.
eventually I kind of want to get out of that, put somebody in there so I can focus on more important things as far as getting better at lead generation, building more relationships, maybe diving into another market not too far from here, things like that. But I mean, really the same stuff. I mean, I'm still driving for dollars. Um, not because I kind of like it. Kind of time consuming, but I mean, other than that, I just be pulling leads off prop stream, batch, stuff like that. So,
What list are you pulling on Bash and PropStream?
we're pulling vacants and then those high equity absentees and tired landlord multifamilies.
Okay. Yeah. Solid lists. Solid lists.
Yeah,
So and you're
yeah,
cold calling those as well.
yeah. Cool calling all of them.
Okay. And so what are some of the things currently that you feel like are a challenge in your business right now to that are prohibiting you from getting to that next step?
Um, I think it'd be just me still doing things that are very time consuming when I could just delegate those tasks and
Okay.
focus on more important things that'll actually help me scale. Um, just hiring out tasks, things, just little stuff that I don't need to be doing. Somebody else
Yeah.
could do that for me.
Yeah. And we talked about this a while back ago, right? We talked about kind of what we could do to help fix that.
Hmm.
Which by the way, if you guys are in the same shoes as Tony, right? You guys are doing deals, you guys are putting in the work, and you guys are starting to see the fruits of your labor paying off, and you have some funds that are to be able to put into the business, right? To free up some time or to maybe increase what you're already doing and increase productivity. One of the first things that I would personally recommend you guys do is to hire a VA ASAP. Not
Hmm.
necessarily a cold caller, more so an admin person to just take care of the little things here and there in the business, whether that be pulling lists, whether that be skip tracing your data, whether that be even driving for dollars. I mean, you can virtually have them drive for dollars. If I believe Batch Leads has an app where you can virtually drive, so you can take that whole task off of your plate by having a
Yeah,
VA do it. Putting the leads into the dialer. I mean, you can have them do whatever you want, right? I'm just
right.
giving you guys examples. But
Yeah,
that would be the first thing that I personally would do is as I would bring on an admin person and just train them up to do basically all the things that you wanna remove from your plate. That way, once you have that removed, right? All you can focus on now is just doing the income generating activities, right? Which is right now it's cold calling and prospecting and finding those opportunities.
hmm, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm really focusing on this year. That's really the goal, is trying to delegate those small tasks away that I don't really need to be doing. Focus on more important things. I really want to try to get into another market. I got a lot of people everywhere, man. I got some family down
Mhm.
in Columbus. I got them in Texas and Houston, San Antonio. I got a friend down in North Carolina, a friend in Atlanta, Georgia. So I mean, I really want to. That's a goal by the end of this year, is try to get in another market with better numbers. Toledo doesn't have huge numbers, so the spreads aren't too big.
Right. And so tell me for this year, what is your goal for this year? Like, how many deals do you want to do? I understand you want to jump into another market, hopefully by this year. What is there an amount of deals that you want to do this year, or a certain amount that you want to bring in this year?
Yeah, I want to bring about 250K in by the end of the year.
Okay.
That'd be the goal. 250. Um, yeah. I mean, it
Okay.
doesn't really matter how many deals I do. I just want to get that number. I had as many deals as possible, really.
Right. Right. And so let me ask you, what's your 5 year, 10 year goal?
10-year goal would really be to scale this thing and fall, not really have to be there all the time because I really want to use wholesaling as like the main hub to bring leads in. And from there, I'll pick out because I want to start flipping. So I'll pick out my flips. I'll pick out my rentals, but everything will fall into the wholesaling. And
Yeah.
then, so yeah,
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, that's the best place to be, right? Because wholesaling is like, it's not necessarily, and some people hate me for saying this, right? But I believe this is true, right? Wholesaling is not necessarily real estate, right? It's just marketing and sales. That's really all necessarily that wholesaling real estate is, right? A purchase contract is our only real product that we're I guess buying and selling with wholesaling, right?
yep,
But the beautiful thing about it is that once you build up that machine, right, you have all of your people in place, you have your systems in place, you understand, the business aspect of wholesaling. You can take that and you can create a whole bunch of verticals with it, right? You can start buying your rentals through the wholesale business. You can start buying and flipping. You can start developing. You can start buying and selling them turnkey to investors. Whatever floats your boat. But I'm saying that it all
right,
comes back down to wholesaling.
yep,
So
yeah,
I
for
think the
sure.
fact that so I think the fact that you're starting off with wholesale and getting that started and building that up is going to give you the best foundation to be able to start flipping and to start buying rentals. Is there a goal to how many rentals you want to have in a certain amount of time?
I mean, by the time I'm 30, I want to have like 40 doors. Um, Really, I want to get into multi-families. I don't really want to do single families. I feel like multi-families would be better because just um, they're made for just to make money, basically. Um,
Right.
so, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to. I know that I don't want to laugh. But really just go with the flow and see where the stuff takes me.
Awesome. Awesome. So Tony today, right? In February 2024, what would he tell the Tony that started and that just started his first day in wholesaling? Like, what would you tell that? What would you tell that version of yourself? It could be something specific. Like it can be like, it could be mindset. It could be like instruction. Like what would you tell that? What would you tell that younger version of yourself?
I tell them, don't hand out. Get that dollar. Get that dollar, man. Man, the hand dialing was hard. I mean, every, three numbers from the same person, and boom, 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 and every day it was hard. So I definitely tell him get that dollar because he'd have a lot more time on his hands. What else? I mean, I don't know. I really feel like nothing else. I mean, I was grinding hard. I was keeping at it. I feel like I did what I was supposed to do. Honestly, um,
Yeah,
I definitely could have went about it a different, a more effective way.
yeah. What do you think you could have done?
Um, Probably that dialer situation. I mean, I kind of, I don't know if I would have, but it would have been smart for me to look into a VA because VAs aren't too expensive. Um, and just because man, once we got those leads in from driving for dollars, we had to plug them in a profit stream piece by piece,
Mm,
and there was like 1,000 of them, and then we had to skip trace them, and then we had to hand dial them piece by
mm.
piece. So it was very time consuming and not really an efficient way to go about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And for those that are watching, right, if you guys are uh, thinking about cold calling to get your leads, me and Tony highly recommend you get a dialer.
Highly recommend it. Yeah, yeah, that dialer's
Yeah,
a
go ahead.
game changer for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, guys, if you're hand dialing, you are going to be beat every single day by the person that's using a dialer, right? Because you're dialing one by one, and then the person on a dialer is dialing 3 to 4 people at the same time, right? So it's just an efficiency thing. So if you guys are deciding that you guys want to start cold calling, number one, fantastic. It's a great source to generate leads. The second part is get yourself a dialer, please, and save yourself some heartache. I personally recommend Ready Mode. I think personally it's the best dialer that's in the game right now. There are some other good ones that they've kind of fell off in quality. I personally would recommend Ready Mode. And that's what Tony. That's what you use, right?
Yep, ready mode.
Cool. Awesome. 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 Well, Tony. Any last thoughts before we hop off?
Um, just for anybody out there that's wanting to get into this, man, just and they're not really having luck. Just keep going. Just keep pushing. You'll get it. No matter what, don't stop. Just keep going. It'll come. It'll come for sure.
Awesome. Awesome. Guys, it will come. It will definitely come. Tony, it was great having you, man. This is truly a
Yep.
pleasure to know you and to see what you're doing on a daily basis, man. I'm in your corner and I'm watching from the stands, and I truly think you're gonna have a lot of success in this market,
Yeah.
in this business, and I think you have a bright future ahead of you, man. Truly.
Yeah. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it, man. Looking forward to many more deals in the future we can do together for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, this is the Trip Podcast. See you next time.